No, we're good.
Oh, okay.
Good luck.
Alrighty, it is 5:12 and we are going to begin the Community Development Committee meeting, which is in conjunction with the Historic Signage Committee. And we have Mink Garbett and Jeremy Varner and myself, Nancy Montgomery from the CDC. And we have John Ludy from the Historic Signage Committee. And of course, also Brian Falk taking minutes, our clerk. So first thing is the minutes.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Minutes are approved. Okay, now I have, and this is just my opinion, but I really prefer John and Selma, if she gets here, to kind of lead us on this because they've been in since day one. They're the experts. We're the newbies. So they know what's been in, what hasn't been in, maybe what works, what doesn't work. So John, however you want to proceed and lead us through this.
I'll do my best. Selma and I met today.
Great.
We went over both 1172 and 1185. The first change that we recommend is on page 1C. And we would insert after repaired wording such as the business owner. And if the business owner or renter has vacated the property, then the building repairs is then by the owner, or is removed by the owner, repaired or removed by the owner.
Okay, so repaired,
Repaired or removed, that's already stated there.
right. So after,
But we just added that the business owner
or the renter.
or the renter.
Or not the property
Business
owner.
owner could be a renter and not the property owner. If they-
Okay.
If they vacate the place,
So
It
you,
reverts to the
it
property owner.
reverts to the property owner.
I understand. Thank you.
okay. So, and you just want any sign that's unsafe shall be repaired or removed by the business owner. And then if the property has been,
Vacated by the business owner.
vacated by the business owner, repair/removal. Well, I would say just removal, wouldn't you? They probably wouldn't leave a sign up for business. Go ahead and leave it repair, removal. Repair/removal.
And then, John, I'm guessing the inference is that if the property owner wanted to recoup the cost of that, that would be between them and the business owner and the villages. Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. It was something I hadn't thought of. Good idea.
Moving on to E, which is wall signs. Number 1, the second sentence there, extend is misspelled. It should be EXTEND. Probably a typo, but Somebody didn't proofread.
That's right.
And in number 2, on page 2, securely needs to be inserted after affixed.
Um,
The idea being if it's flappy, it's bad.
It should
Okay.
be not hanging by a string or a rope or
right.
scotch tape or what have you.
Alrighty.
Stepping back to C on page 2. For a second story sign advertising the business, I think that should be identifying. Or someone, I thought it should be identifying the building instead of advertising the building. You wouldn't advertise on the
Okay.
building.
It says advertising the business under C.
Yes, the business would be on the building. The sign would be attached to the building. If you had a sign on the building, you wouldn't be advertising the building, you'd be, or not the building, you wouldn't be advertising the business. You would be identifying the business.
I think changing the word to identifying instead of advertise will make it clearer for some people.
And I might suggest both identifying or advertising, because you can have like sale this weekend kind of signs, which would be advertising.
But
But are those allowed on the
sale
second
would only
story?
be not on the wall sign.
Because they're already forbidden to be.
They would be a
okay.
small sign
Yeah.
in the window.
Okay, I'm with you now. Yep.
But what that says is that they may only be located in the windows of the second floor. Right?
Right, that's what yeah, I don't think that goes to a temporary ad.
Just to clear up the way I'm reading this, and maybe I'm wrong here, is if you have a business that has a second story and the sign is on the second story, hi, it can only be in the window, correct? And
Right.
that's is that to be a permanent sign?
It can be a permanent sign, or if I remember correctly, can it be a temporary sign for an ad? As long as it's only up there X amount of days?
That's under J, right?
Some say 2 weeks, some notices say 2 weeks, some say 30, we think 30 days is not a sale.
No, I
But
agree.
what the customers are getting right now says 14 days in their paperwork, because I picked up a copy. And if you think about a sale, and you say 14, maybe it's gone within 30. That's a long time. Hi there, I just got rid of a tour.
J, it says 30, so we'll need
Oh,
to.
that same group?
Farther switch.
And
Apologize, tour guide. The Bluegrass Festival arrived at the Grant Boyd home.
we're working on 1185.
For an 1185, page 2, Selma.
185, thank you, my Nancy. Oh, glad you made it to page 2. It's, there's, was thinking about this, not to interrupt your thoughts, but this ordinance, is really good. John and I reviewed it, and of course, you can always make a few changes that seem to make it simpler to understand. But I don't know who would get a packet of information starting a business and read anything. And I don't know what kind of a I picked up the packet that each person who comes to the utility office to sign up for utilities as a business on the square. And this is exactly what they get. And I'm thinking, does anybody even know what's in there? Do they read it? And it's really not, it's really.
The title read it,
They did?
the floor
Good.
shop read it,
Good.
and they both filled the application out.
Oh, good. I feel better already.
Absolutely.
So, real quick then, are you suggesting that once this is done, that would need to be updated? Is that what you're?
I think there's a few things
All right.
that John and I kind of reviewed that we thought the application can have a little bit more clarity or opportunity we put an idea, say at the very bottom, Jeremy, it says approved, disapproved, and the date. And we thought John thought it application. What did we say? Application incomplete. Please resubmit. So we don't want people to feel like they're just rejected or okay. That maybe there's something that's missing, or maybe they needed to change something. We wanted it to be a positive.
Because obviously we've had a number
Like I
of them
said.
who haven't even filled the application out and. Okay, back to page 2.
Here today.
Right angle signs. That's where we are.
Everything looks good under right angle signs, except down to number 3. It says signs may not be attached to roofs, chimneys, smokestacks, stair towers, penthouses, and the line. It means and the like, or and similar, whichever you think, but it's not the line. Just a little typo there.
Second typo.
It happens. You can read it 10 times, you'll still find something. Hopefully not.
And number 6, what is this building known as?
At the very end,
Is
it
it the
says,
Village Hall? I've never heard it called
Municipal
the
building is what I thought it was, isn't it?
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was called the municipal building or the village building.
Yeah. we thought, John.
Good question.
It should be
administrative
one or the
office,
other.
But
Yeah.
it's not the village hall. That would kind of almost.
I would say the Georgetown
A
Village
recreational
office.
place.
What about the village office? Application.
I think it's really, it goes to the administration, right?
Mhm.
Village
Should we
administrator.
say village
We're never
administrator?
gonna be around there, right?
Right.
So maybe at the village administrative office or something, whatever you think. Whatever you think is understandable. Just the address is good.
I'd say the village administrator. Because then he'll bring it to you all to be approved. Probably,
So you
like we
change-
did with Technotitle
So
and,
the applications for approval
Act
should
with.
be presented to
Should
the
be
village
made
administrator.
with the village administrator, maybe, huh?
And
Because you have to
the,
get it from him first, and then,
should be submitted
and the
to,
address.
301 South, okay, yes, okay. Well, but that could change.
yeah, I would just say applications for approval should be submitted to the Georgetown Village Administrator. And I don't care if they give it to him at the office, the bar.
It might be a her someday.
Does it need to say
I think that's good.
where they would get them?
Well, they're gonna get them for, they won't even be, they're getting this in the packet, so they will know that.
Yeah, where do they get the packet, right? I mean, does
It's
it
in
need,
the utility office. It's been at the.
Yeah, and we need to reinforce upon them out there that they are sure they're given to them and giving to everybody. And this only applies to the historic district.
right.
But the historic district is a very odd,
Yeah, well, maybe,
yeah, it is. It's just,
yeah, it is.
but anyway, we'll make sure.
People are learning it as we have a reason to. So a lot of places, don't even know we are a historic district or all that stuff. We'll let them know eventually. That's good. So
Question just for number 6, does that even belong in that right angle signs section? Because that's referring to all signs, isn't it? And it's kind of hidden under a,
You're absolutely right, Nick.
I mean, you should read the whole thing, obviously, but it's,
That would probably go under section 1. Hang on.
I wonder if it shouldn't be E before wall signs because it's applies to everything.
Right.
All those things apply to everything. So wall signs would be the new F and F6 would be the new E.
Still got Village Hall in there.
Well, what about, yeah, that's what I would do. I would make that E under 1. What do y'all think? And then wall signs would be F. Be,
Quick made that up, but
and then right angle would be G. Because that, like Bink says, that pertains to everything. And section 1, at least A through D, those are all
overarching.
kind of general
Yep, mhm.
rules,
General rules, right?
except for D. On a projecting sign, kind of projecting sign would you have besides the right angle? Would you have one hanging down parallel to the building?
And it wouldn't be against the building, because basically it says it has to be attached front into the face.
Right.
If it's for in the glass. So I don't think, I'm not sure if we even need projecting. See, the more you think about it, the more you question, is that necessary?
Well, I'm just not, I mean, we go into a lot of detail on the right angle signs and then in the middle of section 1, there's on a projecting sign, but I don't know what projecting sign it would be. Since we say they have to be fastened to the building, I don't know what kind of projecting sign you would have. And it says only one side's counted in computing the sign's area.
So if I'm getting super picky with math here, if I'm not mistaken, the Masonic globes are on the corner at a 45-degree angle. I don't know if I
It was
get
more
that
pestle at Applegate's when it was a pharmacy, Steele's Pharmacy.
right.
But
I don't know. Do we care?
they're historic, so they would be grandfathered in and they're historic.
Oh, I have no,
Signs.
yeah, no desire
Yeah.
to, yeah,
But
okay.
yeah, see, but Jeremy, see how every time you think about it, it's like,
Yeah,
what if? It's
it's
like-
just technically projecting and technically not a right angle sign, so. Yeah,
But by it saying only one side is counted, it makes me think they're thinking only one side is printed, which means it would have to be parallel to the building.
That's what I was thinking, if it had something.
But we don't let 'em make it.
But I think we can ask it. Because nobody has that.
Right. And they
I
wouldn't,
think a sign you're putting in the business title, not
Right.
necessarily. Something ornamental on the house floating or something like that. So I think I would eliminate that, now we eliminate the problem.
then,
Then if someone submits a sign and said they want it away from the building a little bit on some kind of projection, we can say it has to be attached to the building.
so then
Why
F6,
would they want it that way?
yeah,
I don't know.
F6 becomes the new D, and,
that's the new E.
well, we just got rid of D, so then it would be,
This one would be D.
but we just got, yeah, this one would be D. Okay, so we just got rid of D?
Yeah, we just replaced it
Right. So
We're back
F6
on
is the new D, and then wall signs is back to being E again.
because I marked out F, put G, marked out G and put F.
I gotta go back and do it now too.
As the,
Okay.
which one is that?
Are we ready for G?
Good call, Brady.
wires, but guide on F5.
Oh,
Because if a guy's gonna hang a wire, it's gonna be dead no time. Guide wires.
it's a turnbuckle.
You got it threaded on two ends and then when you turn it, it brings me
Tightens
around.
it up.
Okay.
Sounds like something from.
Yeah, exactly.
From, Johnny Depp, doesn't it?
Did you watch
Pirates of the
WWE?
Caribbean. A turn.
No,
She just read books.
Okay. Just to be weird, because I was weirded out by this. Guy wire is an actual term for that thing. Yeah. I've been using that my whole life, and when you said that, I was like, have I been screwing that up the whole time?
Well, I believe
Both are correct.
Well, let's just say that your sophisticated three-letter word, I did not understand it, but it's okay.
You're fine.
I don't understand what it meant, so a guy wire.
a guy
Maybe that was a
wire,
speech impediment
guy
for
line,
somebody
guy
back in the
rope,
day.
down guy, or stay, simply called a guy, is a tensioned cable designed to add stability to a freestanding structure.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Nancy, for putting English terms.
Nancy, will you look what a gal wire is?
Was that what?
Gal wire. A GAL.
Gal wire. There you go.
I can make a joke about turnbuckles right now, but I will not do that.
I'll do a guy / gal and see if they catch it.
Serious. You can't talk like that.
Oh, heavens. Okay.
There's the turnbuckle there in the middle. You can picture that.
Right. Now I get it now.
These meetings are so fun. I learn so much.
You need to learn something new every day or you'll die that night. That's what my grandmother used to say. Okay. Anything on ground signs?
I think it looks pretty good.
Do we even have any ground signs anywhere?
Merchants Bank over here.
Okay, yeah, I see. Gotcha. They're on,
That's
so they
the-
are, they're on this, on the,
The one that's,
they are, okay.
damaged.
Yep, that's what I was trying to,
it's the only one I can think
It's
of.
rare, but,
Right.
you know.
Because that's different from sidewalk signs, right? Which is what the
Oh, yeah.
coffee loft has.
That's a temporary thing.
Making sure, okay, I'm understanding the definitions here.
Anything on the ground signs that you guys found? Okay. Because I want to bring up something, but we'll go back to it.
In H. Somebody explain to me what the last sentence means, particularly the projecting structure.
I'm assuming it means if you have an awning, this is my assumption. If you have an awning or canopy, you can have the name on the end of that, but you can't have a sign that goes above the top of the canopy or the awning. That's what I would interpret that as.
In other words, the canopy, the marquee, and the awning are the projecting structure.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I do wish they put the awnings back on Commercial Row. I like the awnings. They had them when I came here.
Yeah.
It was, I liked them.
I like when Victory had the royal blue and the bright
Yeah.
blue and it's cloth and not metal and never
Yeah.
painted again, you know. That's one thing, but you know, overhanging signs were a way to keep the sun out of the store.
Well, and also, if it was raining, you could walk the entire block and never get wet over there because of all their awnings over.
They also made places for birds to roost.
Birds need someplace to live too.
They're changing the
My
cloth at the
gosh,
courthouse
John.
sometimes. They're popular. Anyway. Any canopy that says canopy, marquee, or awning sign. I sort of scribbled in something like this. Any canopy, marquee, or awning sign design must be presented to the signage committee in detail for pre-approval before construction.
Well, they're all supposed to be approved
Well,
by the committee.
right. But we find what happens is they get up and then they're sad because they didn't really know, but whatever you think is fine.
But we don't have any canopy, marquee,
No,
or
we
awning
don't.
signs.
That's why I want to make sure we didn't get up there without people reading
Okay.
ahead. Don't do it because that's a lot more expensive. If someone's going to do any kind of awning, if you notice on some restaurants, even they'll have just an oval above the door, and it's not going to keep anybody dry. Trust me, they're just there, the ornamental to designate the door, and those are very nice. But you can't be too careful about what some people think about a metal awning that that gets in disrepair and nobody wants to paint it. Probably why we don't have awnings. One less thing to make people upset about. Your awning's falling apart. Your awning needs paint.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little puzzled, like H doesn't say it, but then you go to, is it I? Yeah, on the inside. It has to be approved by the village historic, they all do.
Yeah, it's okay.
And I don't know why sometimes it's in the paragraph and sometimes, okay.
I don't think it has to be there.
And now that it's out
But
front, we've
sometimes
moved it
we just
to,
wanna remind everybody to get that far. Because they're still,
Yeah.
having to be approved, I guess.
Well, if they get the,
it's now out front. It's the fourth thing that they're gonna read. I mean, reminding people can't hurt, but hopefully it'll.
let's go back to that.
Yeah, but,
We-
10-point list, there's a short list in here.
Yeah,
I think we don't need to, I don't know that anybody's gonna thoroughly read the ordinance. There might just be a bullet point.
right.
These are the important factors you need to know. We're glad you're welcome to the historic district. These are the important factors that you need to,
And you might
Consider.
provide in a sentence, the ordinances where they can go find it, because everybody always
Yes.
wants to know, well, where can
and
I
the
find it?
ordinance is,
That's
the
what we're working
ordinance is
on.
available for you to read it, or it can be in there, but it can be that we have a cover sheet that keeps it simple. Just
Okay.
the way this brochure had, samples so that you could see and an explanation of why. Because a lot of people, are resistant because they don't think anybody should tell them what kind of sign to have. But if you explain the history of the district and what that look is supposed to be about, it might change some minds and make it a little easier.
Go back to page 2. We changed F6 to 1D. And it says, any sign parallel, flat, right angle, free angle must obtain. How about just any sign must obtain the approval of the village historic? Any permanent sign. I don't know why it goes through that flat, right angle, freestanding.
Well, not only that, but it actually leaves off sidewalk signs, which are later addressed, and those are temporary signs.
Right, just say any
It's
permanent,
incomplete and confusing.
just say any
business
permanent,
sign.
No, because it should be temporary too,
any sign.
right?
Yes.
Should I add comma, permanent or temporary?
Yes.
I-
You're gonna ask them if they wanna do, say they wanna do a banner or something with a 10% off from this date to that date, you want them to come and get them approved. I mean, it's fine with me. Whatever y'all wanna do.
Would we then have to call special meetings? Because
No. Yeah, maybe we need
Art.
to be.
Wasn't that, Nancy, wasn't that phone, well, never mind, because you said, never mind, I heard what you said, I was thinking of what we talked about the last time, but you're changing stuff, so
We
never
can
mind.
leave off the temporary part and just make a second sentence there that says, temporary signs refer to to keep them in, to keep them within, the limits of the signage ordinance or something.
I mean, if anybody is concerned, they can certainly get it approved or at least ask the village administrator. If somebody puts up a temporary sign that's not in keeping, that's not the loss of like doing a permanent sign and, But if you want me,
You can't be too careful in a way. and you don't want to burden people too much in another way. But if you have that nice, cute little coffee shop there, and she just takes a little poster board and puts special today is Georgetown G-Min latte, you know, a lot of people wouldn't think anything of it, but it still loses.
So you want me
the
to put
professionalism of a.
permanent and temporary on this?
No, I think you can leave the temporary off, but I think wherever we talk about the
Okay.
temporary sign,
Okay.
then I would just say, for temporary signs, please refer to.
Okay.
And that way they can go back and say, it's gotta look decent, it's gotta be whatever. And we don't have to repeat it, but yes, I agree with you, whatever you said. It's
So in other words,
perfect.
after what we've amended to the Georgetown Village Administrator and what used to be F6, it'd be period and then another sentence saying, for temporary signs, please see
Yes.
Okay.
The place that marked the temporary sign.
M. Yeah.
And don't write it all over again, you know? Because a temporary sign is that, and. Give it to that part.
M.
What I was heading for right there.
Okay.
It's in J. Temporary, well, Nancy's still writing, Jeremy's still writing.
Section M. But I don't know if, are these called sections? Because I know there's like paragraph section.
Yeah, I think you'll review
I
the
put
alphabet
section
later,
M.
Jeremy.
But what do you call, do you call them, are they paragraph, article, section? No, this whole
I just
thing.
like, you know, don't just love numbers or letters and just bullet points. Aren't those the coolest things?
I can start the live if you can just get it set up.
So we're down to I.
No, we're going back to J.
We're going back to what?
J.
J, temporary window signs shall be allowed only if they advertise special sales or events lasting no more than 30 days. Sam and I both think
30
30
days is
days
too
is
long.
too long.
Yeah,
14 days.
14.
In fact, the
2
packet they
weeks.
get says 15 days, so 2 weeks is plenty. Then they can come up with a new idea and put up a new little other permanent temporary sign and just keep printing them off at Dan at Perfect Print. He's a perfect place to get one.
Good job.
You know, at the end of this, it talks about where to have a sign made. We need to think about that.
That's,
One of the problems is finding somebody to do any of this work. It's people, I know a lot of people who struggle with finding a contractor to do the work. So,
Well, I think we might need to investigate so that we
Yeah.
can suggest. Well,
You know, it's like, I know that,
Because plastic banners and flags are easy to get, a decent sign.
yeah, I don't know who did Techno Titles where they're getting their done. I've seen some nice metal signs by Odyssey. They have done some nice metal signs. Oh, the one next to them, black something or other. I've seen some nice decals that they have done. If they don't want to paint the inside of window, and they look just like,
They look like paint.
they do. They look like it's
Clear
etched.
with their color and logo, whatever. I think those are ideal.
Yeah,
Because there
but we'll
used to
have to
be,
look.
you know, gold leaf painters.
And there's also somebody up here, I think on
That'd be cool.
68,
I
that
knew
does
people
metal
that did a
work
lot of them.
Really?
that I
Yeah,
happened
whatever.
up on.
I think we should try to keep the search limited to Brown County.
Oh, yeah.
If
Well, we can
possible.
find,
Oh,
technical
yeah.
title, if we like that, then that's a suggestion, we can ask them, and we can add that, you know, when someone comes in. It'd be nice to have a resource.
Well, it would be, you know,
Right.
doesn't mean we're endorsing them. We just know they do this kind of
And
work.
Odyssey is right there in Ripley, so it's not
Yes.
difficult. But there could be others, since we don't have to worry about it, as we're not making a sign for ourselves, we can.
Well, it is already 5:47, so let's go through K and then stop because some of us have meetings at 6 too.
The following general requirements apply to all of the types of signs allowed in the historic district. rather than fines. I think it sounded a little bit better. Say
Yeah, it
fines.
sounds more professional.
Then, under item 1, sign message, a sign shall include concise lettering.
Shall include what?
Concise lettering. To indicate only the street number, the name, and kind of business, and then the last sentence can be gone. We can put.
Why do you want only concise lettering? They're limited by the size of the sign.
Right.
So if you have somebody like ARC that only has 3 letters, you want them to do not any bigger than.
Look at the last sentence. It says, an effort shall be made to keep the sign message as concise as
Okay.
possible. So we just took one word out of the sentence and.
Okay,
put it at the top,
that's fine.
eliminated the sentence.
Okay.
We're not telling them they can't be over a certain inches or
Right,
whatever.
right, that's all in the part anyway. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are perfecto. We can move right along. And then we get to L. When do you want to stop, Nancy, now?
Well, let's go ahead and do L since it's short.
Okay, the
We're almost
maximum,
finished.
yeah.
Huh?
It depends how many
almost
changes you're
Okay.
suggesting. Yeah.
The maximum allowable square footage. It's the same thing, but I
Yeah.
think it sounds, instead of the maximum allowable of square feet of permanent signage, could say the maximum allowable square footage of permanent signage for a business or use is calculated as follows.
All right, so this is the second time I'm doing math here.
I like it.
Multiplying the business building width by 1, that would be the same as the building width.
Where's that? Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's truly the honest way I've ever heard expressed that. In other words, I would, if that's what it means,
That's a lot.
it just, what you're basically saying is based on the width of the building.
Right.
Which is,
Am I misreading something there? I mean,
no, that's what I read.
okay.
I thought it sounded huge myself.
All right, so. And then also, that sentence doesn't say what happens if use has less than 20, if it has more than 25 feet. The assumption is that the entire width is available as long as it meets those other rules.
I don't know where that came from.
Because I might change that to say, you are permitted to use the width of your building unless your building is less than 25 feet, at which point you can use a maximum of 25 feet. And as crazy as that sounds, that's even clearer than what's written here, because that makes, that-
More than that desk, okay? We don't need to be, I think we have to think about that one.
so shelve that one for now, is that what you're saying? Okay, it's fine.
We should think about that and put that more in.
I think there are going to be several things to think about the next time. I really do.
I think we have to.
Because we haven't even talked about
We might have to
banners.
just look at this, look at a couple of buildings and see, there's
Yeah.
no sign that's 25 square feet or 25 feet long.
You don't have them multiplied
Like
by
the
one.
law office, where Tom Grennan is, and it's new now,
Mhm.
okay? Well, it had Grennan Law Office and then it had, just the symbols. It wasn't 25 feet of Tom Grennan Law Office. It doesn't need to be read from a skyscraper.
So then, well, I wonder why they put that in there, because if the building width is 25, less than 25 feet, but you're giving a max of 25 feet, it would have to extend over into somebody else's
Yeah.
space.
That's where it
Am I reading that?
There's where it needs to be not more than
Yeah, that
30%,
makes no
like the
sense.
previous pages.
Possibly, that makes more sense to me,
Right.
and there's no multiplying.
Well, it's talking about square feet up here, but it never talks, it's talking linear feet down here.
Good point.
So that the paragraph doesn't even have anything to do with the one above it. Maybe that's what they meant. Maybe they meant 1 foot by 25 feet. Maybe
Or it could be
that's,
5 by 5, but not 5 by 6, because that would be 25 square feet. Either one of those signs are acceptable.
maybe.
I just don't think that's English.
I'm thinking it's talking about whatever the width is times 1 foot is what that meant. We'll come back to it. I don't know.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Now, see, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
No, but it makes better sense. It makes different sense.
Yeah. I mean, now that we've talked about it, that's what because they're talking square footage in the top of that. So I think what they're talking about is the width of the building times 1, meaning 1 foot, not a factor of 1.
Right. So I would say that.
Jeremy has to go measure a couple of buildings on.
No, I got it.
the
But I
way-
just wouldn't phrase it. I'd say something
Sign
like,
would be the percentage, which is, in earlier wording, it says up to 30%.
But is that for the sign for the size of the building, or was that talking about the windows?
No, I think that was the
I
sign.
thought it was-
Permanent sign for the
okay.
building. So this one's almost redone.
Okay, because I know that both Technititles and theirs were very careful. They were within those dimensions, so.
Because the good news is those buildings already had the facade ready for the sign, and all
Right.
they had to do is fit into it,
Yeah.
no,
or use the window.
the 30% is for windows.
Mm.
Is in item J.
But somewhere it tells in here,
The area of a grounds, oh, that's a ground sign. It says 16 square feet, straight up independent of the building.
we're gonna have to come back anyway the next time because we still haven't discussed banners, which is a big thing. The sign du jour,
Well, we can hold that one item there, L, and revisit that.
yes. I've never seen so much information on a sidewalk sign. Look at that. It's over half a page.
Yeah, well, this is mostly about liability.
Yeah,
Because it's in the right of way. I think is what it is.
But when John and I were reviewing this, I think another important issue that can be in here, even though it doesn't pertain to the sign exactly. When people have sales and sandwich signs and the like, okay? I think it's important that we stress that no merchandise or table display can impede the sidewalk. I asked Tony Applegate at least 5 or 6 times,
Oh,
and he would not angle that, his wheelbarrows and stuff.
yeah. I
But
thought about that.
truly, it should be minimal. And, if he had a wheelbarrow and a mower, and if they were parallel, but if they're at an angle and you walk over there, you barely have 2 feet of space. Right. And that's really, not very polite, because when you're walking down the street, you have to go single file and be careful of the legs and tires. It's a little bit too much.
so why don't we just stop
But
here?
I think we can stop here and really
And then-
fix this section when we come back.
Our next meeting, unless you want to meet earlier, is it will be the 14th
But I
at
would,
6 o'clock.
I would also suggest that, well, the regular meeting, there's a lot of unfinished business
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with this from the last one, so. do
You want to go ahead and meet at
discuss
5?
5 to do this, and then
6 for the,
5 is utilities
oh,
on
right.
that night, sorry.
Do we want to set another night?
I'm just throwing it out there.
This isn't an emergency, it's just a necessity.
I like that. I'm flexible to what everybody, with the will of the masses on
Well, the
this.
sooner we get this done and get it passed and everything, then the sooner people know. What about, do you want to meet next week? One day?
What did you say?
She said one day.
One day, I have no life, so you guys can pick whatever works. No, thanks.
How about next Thursday?
I cannot do next Thursday.
How about next?
Fantasy football draft. It's important.
Wednesday? Oh, my gosh, we can bring it, you can go to your
I
house.
scheduled it in between these meetings.
It's okay.
Wednesday,
You
I
are forgiven.
can do. Thank you. Wednesday, I.
What's Wednesday like for you at 5:00, Bing?
I can do 5, but I have to be done by 6.
Okay.
Well, we're getting through it, so we might be all right.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think we need more than, okay, so. CDC meeting at 5 on,
The 30th.
yes. Sounds good to me. One thing I need to ask before we adjourn, Art has not sent the letters out. I think we talked about having him send letters to 3 of the businesses, but I think nobody told him. So do we want him to go ahead and do that, or do we want to wait and have him do all of them at one time because there are 2 more that have appeared?
Okay, I think it should just wait and go at the same time.
That's what I figured. What do you think, John?
And then I think we ought to be careful, because I had talked to Art about it, and I told him, that I think we have to be really polite and welcoming and gentle about it,
Absolutely.
and not just say, something harsh and normal.
Right.
the people.
Yeah, it needs to be approached,
And,
but
we have this little brochure, and I don't know who did it, and, it's backwards, but it's pretty good. And we could probably, take a peek at that and let somebody,
I think we need to look at that application. Do like
Yeah, I
I said
think so,
Yeah, the
earlier.
too.
application needs to
Yeah,
look.
because it refers back to 580 or 854 still.
Well, we're out of
when we
here.
looked at that
Let's be
application.
honest. Are we being dismissed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Jeremy,
we're
do the
done.
math
We're done.
on the buildings and we'll meet you.
Not yet, but we're going to.
What's that?
Do the math on the buildings, please.
Yeah.
I'll be up
figure
there
that out.
with the big ladder.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, 'cause we're
Bring your
still
slide
live.
rule.
Make the motion.
Motion made by Big,
Second.
seconded by Jeremy, all in favor? Aye. Motion
Still live.
passes.
I'm happy to see that there were 3 and 2, because that is perfect for 5, and that can vote, right?
Can you what?
Because the other can do 6, you don't have.
Besides the wheelbars and everything.